Hello, so here with us today we have a sample of a slider window. A very common window. You would see it in your basements, you would see it on new build, they were built by builders. A lot of the time you would hear that the sliders are not as efficient, not the best windows out there. They always try to push you to go for the casement. Well, they're right, because they're talking about sliders from their own manufacturing. Sliders are very tricky windows. If they are not built properly, you would lose a lot of energy. That's why a lot of these window companies that are trying to install windows in your house, they would always tell you not to go for the slider because it doesn't have the most efficiency compared to the casement or the crank, as you would call it. If you come to us, we would always actually help you out with the slider if you are looking for a slider, because we are confident enough that these sliders actually are efficient enough to resolve your problems that you have in now, which could be either air leakage from your existing slider or ice building up around the panels. So here with us is an example. I'll explain to you why our slider is considered energy efficient. So we'll start from the outside. As you can see here, you can already see that the thickness of the profile, it has this part here, and then it has this part which is some sort of a curve that you might pay attention to it. The reason that we have it this way is that you will see that there's a lot of space. So meaning that there's more vinyl that is on the outside that is going to be able to protect and maintain efficiency. The windows are all made by laser welding. This laser welding is a technology that would put all the parts of the windows together and then it lasers them at the very same second. Meaning that we always get that perfect 90-degree corner, which is very important to maintain the balance of the windows. You would see that the glass unit is sticking out a little bit. So meaning that we do have a lot of glass in there. If you take a look here at the cross section, you'll be able to see it how it's sticking out onto the outside. There is about this much space on the edges. You wouldn't see this on your typical builder grade slider, or what the other competitor might have told you that their slider is not good, you should buy a casement because it's more expensive. Our sliders are actually as efficient as you would want them to be. With having this space around here, the first thing that you would probably ask in where are my drain holes if you have this hidden onto the inside. Well, we do actually have drain holes, and then we have more than you would have seen out there. So we have about 2 on the bottom here. So you have the first one and the second one. The first one is just right below the glass unit. This is acting for the glass, and this one right here is acting for the profile. And they're both invisible, that you cannot really see them. So if you get heavy rain or something like that and water it goes around, you would be flashed towards your brick mold onto the outside. So that's for the exterior of the window. The other thing about the laser welding, you will see that the welding here is done very, very good, and there is no imperfection on it because it's done by a machine that is doing it very accurately. Even these corners right here that you see them as a curve, these are also done at the same time as these ones here, and they also are very precise. And the reason that we have this much here is to regulate the thermal dynamic of the window as well. Outside of the window, this part here is called the brick mold. That's what you would have on the outside profile around the windows. The size of that depends on your existing window. That would help us to dictate what we would use and then what size we would go for. Going on to the inside, these are the 2 panels. As you can see them here, I will turn your window into the inside so you can have a look at it. First of all, you will see that there's a lot of vinyl that is being put in here. So we have the most vinyl you would see in the industry on a slider window. That's what you would have here. This is 30% more than your average slider that you would see in the market in terms of vinyl around the glass unit. You can see it here as well. You can see that it has more vinyl starting from this point right here all the way to this point onto the inside. There is a lot of vinyl being put in there. That means there is a lot of thermal regulation. How does the thermal regulation happen? is through the chambers here. Chambers are pretty much closed air pockets that would maintain the temperature. Minus 20 out there, 20 inside the house, this would break that temperature. So the more you have here, the more thermal breakage you can achieve. So your 0 degree, so if it's minus 20, this would break it minus 15 and so on and so on. Your 0 degree is always gonna be inside here. It's not gonna be inside your house. That's why that competitor, when he came to your house, he told you or she told you that this window is actually not efficient, talking about their windows, because it ices up in the winter time. That's because they don't have enough chambers here. We do have the most in the industry for a slider and for other windows as well. The next thing is the glass unit, which is on top of the chambers. So there's already enough balance here, but we always add more balance for the glass. But we use something called a super spacer, which is the black spacer that you will see around the frame. It always doesn't let the glass to touch the vinyl, because if it touches the vinyl, expansion, contraction of material, the glass is gonna detach, and whatever gas is in between, which I will explain to you in a second, would leak out pretty easily, and then you got a seal unit failure. However, with our sliders, we have that spacer in between that kind of maintain the balance. Minus 20 out there again, 20 inside your house. This would always maintain the balance. It pushes the glass this way or that way, and it always maintain it on that perfect 90-degree corner that I was explaining earlier. So you don't get any leakage from the glass units themselves. And then the glass unit, the way they're built, you see there's a lot of space between the glass. Very important. We use a gas that is a very dry gas called argon that's been injected in between the glass panes. The more argon you have, the more efficiency and dryness you can achieve for your glass unit. How you can get more argon? By having more space, meaning you can put more volume. So that's why, as I was mentioning, we have the most space in the industry. The other thing is the glass has to be of a specific thickness to maintain a very smooth sliding, and also to maintain a cut breakage on the UV from the sun. So we have very thick glass, depends on the surface of the window. The more and the bigger the surface, the bigger the glass thickness would go. So you will see here on these windows that the glass is thick enough on all the units, and it's always the same thickness. Same thickness as here, same thickness as the very one on the inside. Same thickness in the middle here, same thickness on that middle. And both panels are triple pane. So if the windows are closed, you're actually getting a triple pane. You might see in that guy that came to your house cross section that they have the middle pane being thin and the space is very small. So they don't have enough argon, thick triple pane. That's why he probably didn't want you to buy the slider windows. Our windows, when it comes to the slider, they get you the most efficiency that you're looking for. Brick mold is attached to the frame of the window, which is your exterior frame. And then inside here, this part of the window is called your jamb extension. Depends on the size of the window, the more you will get onto the inside. 2x6 gets you more jamb onto the inside here. 2x4 gets you this much, or it depends on your interior of the house. Now we're gonna talk about the function of these windows, how they slide, how they open. So you can see here, the windows open very smooth, slide very smooth. You can slide it with one finger. Regardless of the thickness of the glass, regardless of how heavy they are, we always have vinyl rails, so it doesn't really collect any dust. You can see here, they don't have a lot of space on the bottom, so no air can leak from the outside. Same thing here goes on the top. You don't have a lot of space on the top, so this vinyl sash is actually attached to the frame properly. There's no gap around it. You might want to clean your windows, or your wife wants to clean them. A lot of these sliders that you've probably seen before, you have to kind of lift out, take it to the kitchen, and sometimes you break it on the way, and there's that gap on the top. Not with our windows. We use what's called the tilt mechanism, which helps you to open this window to the inside. So it opens to the interior. The first thing you would notice is that this is a thick profile here. So it means the glass in there is actually thick enough. There's more space for argon, as I explained before. So that's, explaining it here as well. You will see here that you can easily clean it from both ends, inside and outside. give it a push back on, and that's how it goes into the interior. And then if you would like to remove your screens, these two springs here, you can easily remove your screen and it comes back into your interior. And then that's pretty much it for your slider. That's why these windows are considered one of the most efficient ones when it comes to a slider in the market.